Have you ever gotten that feeling that there's something hiding just beneath the surface? A secret message, maybe? An ancient mystery just waiting to be solved? Well, today, we're cracking open one of the biggest of them all, the wild, fascinating, and totally controversial story of the Bible Code.
And this was the claim that set the world on fire. Michael Drosnin's 1997 book, The Bible Code, wasn't just a book, it was a phenomenon. He claimed that using a computer, he could find prophecies of, well, everything hidden in the original Hebrew Bible. We're talking World War II, 9/11, you name it. It was an absolutely explosive idea.
I mean, what an incredible thought, right? That the future is already written, just waiting for us to find it. But is it for real? Or is it just a classic case of seeing what we want to see? That's the big question we're going to tackle. And believe me, the real story is way more interesting than the myth.
Okay, so first things first, let's break down the myth itself. What exactly is this so-called Bible Code, and how is it supposed to work? The whole thing hangs on this one technique called equidistant letter sequences, or ELS for short. Here's the gist. Imagine the entire Bible, with no spaces, as just one massive, long string of letters. ELS is basically a method for finding hidden words by picking a letter to start and then skipping forward a set number of letters, say every 50th letter, to find the next one, and so on.
The way they do it is kind of like making a giant cosmic word search puzzle. You take that long string of text and wrap it into a grid. Then you pick a starting point, you pick a skip number, and boom, you can suddenly find words spelled out horizontally, vertically, even diagonally. And when you have millions of letters and a nearly infinite number of ways to skip through them, well, the possibilities seem absolutely endless.
Now, this idea really hit the mainstream in two big waves. The first was in 1994. A paper in a pretty serious journal, Statistical Science, claimed they found this weirdly specific pattern, the names of famous rabbis clustered near their birth and death dates. It was interesting. But then, in 1997, Drosnin's book came along and turned that academic curiosity into a global obsession with these huge, dramatic predictions.
But you know, as the claims got bigger and bigger, so did the skepticism. And mathematicians started pointing out that this whole incredible theory was built on a really classic, really simple, logical mistake.
It's called the Texas sharpshooter fallacy, and it's a fantastic metaphor. Imagine a guy just firing a shotgun randomly at the side of a barn. Then, he walks up, finds the tightest little cluster of holes, and draws a bullseye around it. See? He's an expert. That's exactly what was happening with the Bible Code. They already knew the events they were looking for, and then went searching through endless data until they found something that looked like a match.
And this is really the heart of the issue. You see the massive jump in logic here? The original paper said, there's some unusual clustering here. Maybe it warrants more study. The pop culture version screamed, "We found it! The Bible predicts the future, and it proves God wrote it." It was just a gigantic overclaim.
And here it is, the real nail in the coffin. Skeptics took the exact same ELS method and just pointed it at other big books. And guess what? They found predictions for assassinations hidden in Moby Dick. They found hidden messages in War and Peace. It turns out, if you have a big enough chunk of text, you can find anything you want to find. It's not magic, it's just math and probability.
Okay, so myth busted. End of story, right? Nope, not even close. Because this is where the story pivots from a popular myth to something way cooler and historically real.
See, the real secret wasn't about predicting the future, it was about protecting the past. We have to stop thinking about this as some kind of supernatural prophecy and start thinking of it as a brilliantly clever, human-made checksum. It's not about divine revelation, it's about technical skill.
Think about it. For thousands of years, scribes had to copy these incredibly important texts by hand. One little mistake could change everything. So how did they make sure their copies were perfect? They used checksums, intentional patterns embedded in the text to act like an error-checking system. It was a way to make sure the copy was a perfect mirror of the original.
And these ELS-type patterns were maybe just one small part of a huge, sophisticated toolkit these scribes used. They had marginal notes that counted the letters and words in a section. They had complex systems for noting when a word should be read differently than it was written. These weren't divine codes. These were the professional tools of master craftsmen.
So if there was this fascinating, real history to study, what happened? I mean, why isn't this more widely known? Well, that's the tragic part of the story. Honestly, the Drosnin book and all the hype around it just poisoned the well. The whole thing became such a pop culture spectacle that any serious academic who wanted to study historical scribal techniques and used a term like ELS was immediately laughed out of the room.
They were instantly lumped in with the mystics and the crackpots.
You had these legitimate, really important fields, like trying to recover the verification methods of ancient scribes or studying the history of text transmission, and they all got unfairly branded. Suddenly, serious historical work was dismissed as numerology or pseudoscience. A whole field of fascinating research just became academically radioactive.
So how do we fix this? How can we tell the difference between a real intentional signal and just random noise, the stuff of the Texas sharpshooter? Well, the answer actually comes from the world of cryptography, and it's brilliant.
It's called the Handshake protocol. Think about it. In secure communications, two computers have to agree on the rules, the secret key, the method, before they start exchanging information. They have to shake hands first. You can't just make up the rules after the fact to fit what you found.
This is the one rule to rule them all. You have to define exactly what you're looking for and how you're going to look for it before you even peek at the data. You have to specify where the target is before you fire the gun. The Bible code folks, they failed this test big time. They shot first and drew the target later.
And here's the best part. This isn't just for debunking ancient codes. This handshake protocol, it's a powerful critical thinking tool that every single one of us can use every single day.
Let's just break it down into a simple 5-finger test. 1. Origin. Were the rules set beforehand? 2. Transmission. Is the secret key or method known? 3. Function. Does this pattern actually do anything useful? 4. Falsification. Is there any way to prove this wrong? And 5. Reproducibility. Can other people follow the rules and get the exact same result?
And you can aim this thing at pretty much any wild claim that comes your way. Crazy conspiracy theories, that miracle stock tip from your cousin, sensational headlines, UFO videos. This simple handshake check helps you separate the real signal from all the noise out there. It's like a superpower for clear thinking.
So in the end, the real secret we unlocked today wasn't some prophecy from the past, but a powerful tool for navigating the present. Which really just leaves one final question for you. In our world, which is just full of patterns and data and noise, what modern codes will you put to the test?